most kids don't say, oh, I want to get to the NBA and I want to be great in the NBA for 15 years. No, they dream of making it to the NBA. And so you're going up that mountain. Some guys get up that mountain and say,
well, I think it depends. I think it depends. You're talking about what is your mountain, right?
Yes, but here's what I'm saying. I want to finish my point. The point I'm trying to make is some guys get there and be like, okay, good. I got up here. Now I'm going to go back down. Some guys get there and like, okay, now I want to go higher. And that's the difference. Like in Cam's case, I truly believe this. And I think Cam, again, I watched this kid score 50 of the easiest points. I mean, me and Mav was together, and Mav was like, damn, that looked easy.
I was sure he was going to be a great NBA scorer.
And I was
sure
like,
he was going to be.
It did. 6'9", fluid. But, you know, when he got to college, he got there, and he was there with RJ, and he was there with Zion.
Yep.
So he was kind of like the third guy that could do something mentally to you. Just mentally, right?
Now that can do something mentally to you. But look at Jalen Johnson of the Hawks right now. He was actually on that team when Cam Reddish was there. And they had DeAndre Hunter and just a bunch of other small forwards. I believe Gallinari was out there and another shooter from Sacramento. But that did not deter Jalen Johnson as he asked to go to the G League and he's developed himself. And eventually down the line, we see him today. He's basically become the leader of the Hawks. So your mental approach is definitely important and how you view certain opportunities or even adapt to them.
Just mentally, right? Confidence. Our game is 90% mental. When you get to the NBA, everyone's uber talented.
So wait, you're saying that Cam, it's not an issue of he didn't love the game?
I don't know. No, I don't think it's an issue of that. I don't know what the issue is. I'm just giving you what I suspect being in it and being around all of these kids since they've been young. I'm just giving you the journey. That part happens. Then you go to the draft, right? And you know, all this whole time, this is why I don't really love mock drafts. You're looking and you're supposed to be a top 5 pick. Well, you go 10. And not only do you go 10, you go 10 to a team that just took a player that is from your city or from your area that you were supposed to be ranked better than the whole time in front of you at 4. DeAndre Hunter went 4. So now you got 2 guys that play the same position on the same team, and then you get traded.
You're saying it's circumstance.
It's circumstance,
Rich,
yes.
How much of it is circumstance and how much of it is, this happens to me evaluating college quarterbacks all the time. I'm horrible at it because I look at him in college, I'm like, he's going to be, and it doesn't turn out that way. Sometimes it's that what you can do at a certain level of competition, like you can hit AAA pitching, but in the majors, you just can't do it the same way. I suspect that there's something about Cam Reddish's game that just didn't translate on the same level that it looked like it was going to translate when he was in college.
I sort of saw the same thing that Max is alluding to right here. Cam Reddish, every time he drove, it seems like he was shocked that guys were able to be in position to stop him and he didn't know how to adjust to it. And that right there will sometimes cause him to move a little bit too fast for himself. He had a lot of awkward drives while he was in the league, just losing the ball or just not adapting fast enough. It just looked really awkward. But I'm not going to lie, other times he did look flawless going to the hoop.
You know, because if you're saying it's not an issue of the love of the game,
no,
then I think
it's the other thing.
Then you would rise above the circumstance.
Yes, but sometimes some guys need, along with the opportunity, a little TLC. They need a little TLC. And the problem with the NBA is, or any league for that matter, but especially in the NBA, there's a draft every year. The higher you go in the draft, the higher the expectation, and right away, right? Now, again.
And these kids are coming with very little college or no college now.
If I'm a lottery pick, 2 things can happen when you're a lottery pick. You either lottery pick and your team, you're able, if you go to a bad team, let's just say, call it when I say bad team, a team that's not vying for contending in any way. You're there. The GM that drafted you, they're there too. right? So they picked you. They picked you, and they're going to want to see you develop. They're going to want to invest in you.
Sure.
Some guys' talent and production outlasts the GM. The GM could change. That player's still
But
there.
if the GM goes and you're stuck there,
right?
And,
And or if you get traded to another team, well, that GM didn't draft you. They're taking you back in the trade. They're taking they're taking a flyer on you.
Some good points brought up right there by Rich Paul. Originally, the assistant GM that was part of that 2016 Golden State Warriors team, he went over to Atlanta, and he's the one that made that trade for Trae Young. He had the same vision for the Hawks that the Golden State Warriors were doing, and I'm not too sure where he was going for by getting Cam, but that was his draft selection. And after some time, he got traded to New York, and Tom Thibodeau was not feeling him off rip. That was the very first time that people seen Leon Rose kind of have a riff for the way Tibbs was kind of managing this team, not playing the newly guy that he traded for, which is Cam Reddish. And after all that, what really possibly killed his ego was getting traded for Josh Hart and seeing how it panned out with him being on the Knicks. But right here, Rich Paul gives further insight into how players could easily become disconnected from their teammates or just the overall franchise, not only due to the influx of money that's coming in, but also them assembling their own teams of trainers, chefs, etc. A lot of the camaraderie that can happen off the court, like going out to eat together, those situations behind the scenes are starting to look like things of the past.
This is why I talk about the ecosystem of an athlete. Man, the NBA season is a roller coaster. Being a guy, especially if you're a role guy, you can play at home. Fine, play at home. If you're a marquee guy, don't play at home, because every night is tickets, depending on how many family members you got. And for every one family member you got, they got 3 friends.
Right.
Right?
It's just a whole other job.
These tickets aren't free. Then when you leave out that locker room, man, you just may want to go home to your family. You may not want to see nobody, not even your agent for that matter. I just had this conversation. Me, Draymond, DeAnthony Melton, and Jimmy Butler were talking. And this was an opportunity for me to ask them. And I did. And I said, obviously I represent Draymond. I do not represent Jimmy. I do not represent
You just said a
DeAnthony.
magic word that reminded me of something, but go ahead. Yeah.
But I asked him a question. I said, hey, man, take me through the course of your day. And if it's a game day, when do you want to see your representation? Do you want to see the representation before the game, after the game, etc.? And they all had different answers. The reason why I asked that is because the league has totally changed. When I first came in the league 24 years ago, it was simple. You go to the game, after the game, you go to a steakhouse, and that was it. Now, they don't want to go eat. Guys have chefs. It's a different dynamic. So where are you spending the time? I see a lot of people, especially agents, with I don't know how many of those earbuds Apple has sold, but everybody got them in, and I talk to so many people a day. You can't be talking that much. And it's like, when do you want to see, anybody for that matter? I was just putting myself in that position to better myself, but I'm saying in terms of...
You know why everyone has chefs now, right? And they used to live in a steakhouse? Because 24 years ago, you were dealing with one level of player. 24 years later, you're dealing with everyone having chefs.
I think it's being educated. Because here's the thing. Guys may come out and as a rookie, and it's like, oh man, chef costs $75,000 or $100,000, depending on what city you live in. Somebody may say to you, that's too much money. That's not, if I'm investing in myself.
Especially since you're going to spend that in the restaurants anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And, that cook at the restaurant or the chef at the restaurant, he hasn't met with your nutritionist on your team to understand what you're allergic to, all those type of things. So anyway, the other part about playing at home, that whether you play at home or not, that you don't necessarily get to see, is now I have to live up, not just so much as live up, everything is brought with me, right? Everything is brought with me. My high school stuff, my muni league stuff. It's just
it's a mess.
It's just
it's
so
a mess.
much. This is why international players actually have it better.
Because all that stuff is left behind.
They don't have... American players come into the NBA, weighing more than they actually weigh.
Carrying a lot of weight.
It's a lot, man. It's a, and
Not to mention, oftentimes they have to bring a generation out of poverty too.
Yes, I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about it's just a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Period. And there's no metric for that. There's no metric for that. And you cannot. If you had a broke arm, you got a cast on. Leg, you got a cast on. If you had whiplash, you got a neck brace on, etc. But when your brain is fractured a little bit, or even if it's a hairline fracture, we can't see that. And the average person is saying, I'm good. And from an athlete perspective, just taught to be macho and, this and that. Playing at home adds a whole nother layer to that.
So
we haven't even gotten to winning
so
or
you
losing.
wouldn't want AD to go to Chicago.
Max, I'm not getting into any of that.
What you just said was, if you're a role player, go home. AD is not a role player.
I don't want any marquee player. I wouldn't. I can't control it, because obviously, if they got the money and they want to pay and the guy chooses to want to go there, then great. What I'm saying is, I would rather a marquee player not play in his hometown unless they could handle everything that comes with it, because there are some benefits. It's all based upon how you manage it.
But it is what it is. When you add on that new NBA scheduling where it's a game every other day, it only complicates things, because guys are just now more further into their own silos. You're talking about a schedule where it could just last weeks at a time, where you have a game, then a travel day, game, travel day, game, travel day. There's already not enough time for these teams to get practices in. So players have a more one-on-one situation with their own personal trainers, medical staff, etc. Check out right here as LeBron James gives great insight to how everyone is just hovering around their own silos with their own medical staff, trainers, etc. We could say the blueprint really started with him. LeBron James has had a great positive impact on the way players move around the league. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I walked in the training room the other day after a game, and I have to really be sore or whatever, but I rarely go into the training room and get like a leg flush after a game. Yeah. We play like a lot of games, and I went in there after the game just get like a 20-minute flush before I started my ice and treatment and whatever. There's a lot of people in there. Listen, I was a little overwhelmed.
You said that nicely.
There's a fucking ton of people in there, man. It was like 5 guys. Yeah. There was 5 guys on the team. There was like 25 people in the training room.
Right.
Like
it's like
7 doctors.
Redesign our buildings.
Yeah, it's like 7 doctors, 7 or 8 doctors.
Yeah.
10 medical team staff, 4 or 5 massage therapists. Like, it was like 25. I was like, oh man. And it was loud too.
Right.
Like, I was like, I need my headphones.
It's like a clinic.
Yeah, it was like a clinic. Like, I was walking into like the emergency at like UCLA.
Yeah, right. The pit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So right there, you can see how players could easily venture off and just become disconnected from the team. That off-the-court camaraderie is really not the same anymore. For Ben Simmons, him making all that damn money, it's fairly obvious how disconnected he was from his team, even that footage with him showing up to that practice with his cell phone in his pocket. Very unfortunate, but at the end of the day, there's a graveyard of just highly talented players that came across the league and never really hitting their potential.